Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, June 6, 2025. A family of 13 displaced after a fire destroyed their 12-bedroom home on East Avenue in Kingston Central in 2021 can look forward to moving into their new multifamily residence within 6 months. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was on hand for the contract signing and groundbreaking ceremony for the East Palms housing development on Wednesday, courtesy of the government's new social housing program. The $58.86 million development will replace the house that was destroyed in a fire suspected to be an act of gang-related arson, leaving the family homeless. The project involves the construction of 7 apartment-style units comprising 4 studios, 1 2-bedroom and 2 3-bedroom living quarters. The development will include external walkways, sewerage, plumbing, and electrical installation. While Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness expressed disappointment over the time it took for the development to commence, he also described the day as a transformational one.
We are going to transform lives that were destroyed in that fire, being deprived of somewhere to live, deprived of their furniture and their equipment and their clothing. We're going to transform the lives of children who were affected by this fire, where they had no place to study. We're going to be transforming a community that by virtue of this act of violence and the destruction of the residents, the community would have been depressed. The value of the community would have been depressed. We're going to transform it.
Meanwhile, 2 residents of Franklin Town in central Kingston joined the long list of persons who have now benefited from the new social housing program, NSHP. Paulette Robinson and Clive Griffiths, a disabled man, both received keys to their brand new homes on Wednesday. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who handed over the homes, highlighted that the community was suffering from what is called urban blight and said his government was working to reform areas like this. But he stressed that the residents too should consider how they can play a part in investing in their community.
Then you're going to want to invest. And when I use the word invest, you might think it's a big thing. Can I invest? Of course you can invest. If you decide to take down your zinc fence and put up a wall fence, that's an investment.
Yes, sir.
If you decide to say, all right, I'm going to add on a little room, that's an investment. If you decide to change your little outside toilet to an indoor toilet, that's an investment.
Last week, Dr. Holness was in the communities of Stirling Castle and Shady Grove in St. Catherine, handing over brand new homes to Dorothy Allen and Nadine Forbes. He then traveled to Colonel Ridge in Clarendon to hand over another NSHP unit to Harold Carders and to Sandy River, where he presented Anita Johnson with her new home. The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, through ODPEM, will be distributing more hurricane straps to Jamaicans this year as part of preparations for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. This was disclosed by the Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie during a meeting of the National Disaster Risk Management Council earlier this week. He says this will be a continuation of the hurricane strap program initiated by ODPEM last year following Hurricane Beryl.
And we are expecting this year to do the same by providing through the municipal corporations a couple thousand hurricane straps. And this will be a part of the program of mitigation or relief that will be undertaken by the ODPEM.
Minister McKenzie was responding to a charge from Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness for the local authorities to reinforce adherence to the building codes, especially as it relates to roofs. The Prime Minister says the need for this was made evident in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl.
It was clear. Those roofs that did not use hurricane straps, those were the roofs that were destroyed. It was crystal clear. So it appears to me, and indeed coming out of the report, that the parish councils, the approval entities, and the Ministry of Local Government, through a national public campaign must reinforce the building codes as it relates to roofs.
Minister Mackenzie says those discussions have started and will be intensified.
The discussions around the building approvals as it relates to how roofs are secured, Prime Minister, those discussions have commenced, and the building plan, plans that exist in the building code do also speaks to a specific area as to how construction around roofs must be done. But we will intensify those discussions as we go on, Prime Minister.
More than 20 health centers have benefited from improvements under the government's $1 billion Operation Refresh initiative since its launch last year. This was disclosed by Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton. He was speaking with JIS News on Tuesday following a tour of the Little London Health Centre in Westmoreland, which is also slated for improvements under the project.
Operation Refresh has been in full throttle. A number of health centers, over 20 so far across the country, have been refreshed. Refresh really means new chairs, air conditioning to cool the area, new bathrooms, new doctors' offices, new equipment, essentially to lend back credibility to the health centers to get more community members in those health centers rather than going and crowding out the hospitals.
Similar upgrades are planned for the Little London Health Centre.
We're going to be expanding to the back where we have space to create some more cubicles for doctors or doctors' offices, for the staff, for the records room, all of which will be expanded. We're going to ensure that the waiting area is more comfortable with new seating. We're going to put air conditioning in the facility so it's cool.
The health facility has seen a 40% increase in persons visiting for curative services, and it's anticipated that the numbers will further grow with the upgrading work. And finally, JANAC Global Accreditation will spearhead a series of events to observe World Accreditation Day on June 9, under the theme Accreditation, Empowering Small and Medium Enterprises, SMEs. World Accreditation Day is a global initiative by the International Accreditation Forum, IAF, and the International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, ILAC, to highlight the importance of accreditation in ensuring quality and trust across industries. JANAC's Acting Chief Executive Officer Dr. Yvette Castell says the agency is focusing on enhancing the competitiveness of SMEs and continues to work closely with the IAF and ILAC to ensure that accreditation services contribute meaningfully to regional development and global integration.
It is of particular interest to JANAC because our mandate of enabling SMEs to meet recognized standards will help to give them the credibility that they need to access new markets, to comply with regulatory requirements, and to compete globally.
The series of events will kick off with a commemorative service at the Stadium Community Seventh-day Adventist Church in Kingston on Saturday, June 7. JANAC will host an assessor meeting on June 9, looking at strengthening conformity assessment activities across the Caribbean and beyond. A series of webinars will also be hosted in collaboration with standards bodies across the region starting on June 10. And then Wednesday, June 11, will mark the first anniversary of JANAC Global Accreditation's rebranding as a strategic move reflecting the agency's expanded regional and international reach. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.